We feel deprived if we can't live with them. We feel deprived if we can't spend our money with them, you see. We feel deprived if our children are not in school with them, you see. We would be happy when this can happen, which means that we give them our children, we give them our money, we give everything to them, and means and ultimately that we cannot give our children anything. And then when they have to rob and steal and filch and carry on, we wonder what's wrong with them. It is not what's wrong with the children, ladies and gentlemen. It is what's wrong with us as black adults that set these children up for this. Because we are looking for a happiness that is bound, if it's based on fear and self-hatred, to destroy our children. And we'll justify it by saying we love them and we want them to get the best, which often ends up what? The other way around. I got to end it here. One other thing, marriage. Marriage is an opportunity for self-growth. It's an opportunity for self-discovery, you see. Having children is also an opportunity for further maturing of your personality, for further personality development. Because, of course, if you work honestly in your marriage, you work honestly in your love relationship, it helps you to see who and what you are. If you have a good, honest relationship with another person, that person serves as a mirror to help you see the real you. And in seeing the real you, you correct the flaws and you correct the weaknesses and you deal with the weaknesses and so forth. So if the other person is understanding and not condemning, if the other person is not over-idealizing you and needs to make you some great hero or some god or goddess, it then will give you a chance then to grow. If they accept you for who you are, with the idea, though, that their acceptance means that you will continue to grow and develop, you see, then they're providing a real, natural, and healthy kind of love for you. Marriage and having children provides that kind of opportunity. If the people are not afraid, if they're not hiding things, if they're not filled with self-hatred and hostility, if they want to be honest with each other and open with each other, then they will grow in strength and power and love, and their families will grow beautifully and wonderfully. When you have children, often they make you reflect back upon your own childhood. Often we use our children to correct the things that happened to us as children. Some of us do it the wrong way, though. We're so determined that they're not going to have the kind of childhood we had as children. We end up spoiling them and creating problems for them. But if we look at them and watch them grow and watch our relationship with them, and we look at ourselves and see our own selves in terms of our relationship with our children, then we can grow and develop and be healthy for ourselves and for our children. But people who go into marriage out of fear and self-hatred and the kind of love I talked about earlier, that makes them escape themselves, are people whose marriages are going to be filled with conflict, unproductive conflict. Quickly, you have a lot of kind of loves that destroy marriages now. Let us say, often when you go into a marriage trying to defend yourself and defend your weaknesses and so forth, instead of coping with them and solving them, what is your defense becomes an offense against the other person. You have the narcissist. You know, many of us, nobody loves us, mama don't love us, white folk don't love us. Because white folk don't love us, mama don't love herself, daddy don't love himself, he hates us. And now, if I'm going to get into love at all, I'm going to have to do what? Love myself for myself. But often you see that's not a healthy kind of love, it's a narcissistic kind of love. And many people move into that. This kind of love that many of our people have, by the way, because we've been made to feel inferior, and often the way we get over feeling inferior is by inflating who we are. And that's a part of the rap tradition you see in some people there. These people who really feel weak must project the image of what? Being superhuman, super lovers, beyond life itself, you know, beyond law, a law unto themselves, and everybody else is subordinate to them as people. This narcissistic love. He can only love then, the love, narcissistic love is only possible if the other gives up their individuality and rights for the benefit of others. I've seen some African types, by the way, those who go into African tradition also go in it with a narcissistic motivation. I am the African king. And the African woman is to support her man and not object to anything he says. And she gets identity totally through me. She must live for me. Her whole identity is with me. This is what the true African woman does. Doesn't save your marriage, I'm telling you. And many people holler. And I get people who are into Afrocentric tradition, ladies and gentlemen, who call me, who have problems with their marriages because they're trying to live some kind of mythical African concept. Or the woman is what? I'm the African queen, and my man is supposed to do this, is supposed to do that, and live for me, the whole bit. Unrealistic. Totally unrealistic. It's a narcissism. Often people jump. You see, to be Africanist in orientation is fine, but you got to be an Africanist also for the right reason. Many people have jumped into African nationalism and jumped into the African tradition, not out of true love, but out of reaction. The white people hate us, they never love us, so let's jump back and be African. If they did love us, I wouldn't have to be this, you see. So it's a reactionary kind of thing. And you see it then expressed sometimes even within a so-called African-oriented organization. Love is only, and the narcissistic woman, love is only possible if I can sacrifice myself for you. You know, I'll die for you. I'll, give up everything I have for you. And I'll live exclusively for you. And what's yours is mine, and so forth. You give up your own individuality. But a narcissist can only love somebody who gives up everything for themselves. And they can see love operating on this. Then we have the dependent types. I want to be cared for and protected. I've been robbed. A lot of us as black people love out of deprivation. We've been deprived of freedom. We've been deprived of housing. We've been deprived of schooling. We've been deprived of love. We've been deprived of this. And what are we going to do? We're going to find this man who's going to make up for all of our deprivations. You see, and we're so deprived, and of course the men are willing to oblige you until they get a piece, right? Oh, baby, I'm everything to you. When you love me, I'm going to be all the whole bit to you. And they'll go along with that for a while until it's enjoyed. Then after a while, though, that kind of love stops. You're everything to you. Ladies and gentlemen, another person cannot be everything to you. And the idea of moving towards somebody who's going to be everything to you is a sign of madness and craziness. But yet there's some people who are caught up in their needs so badly. They have so many strong needs till the only thing they can think about is what they need. Now, the other person is only supposed to bow to what they need. You don't love me unless you supply what I need. You should be happy to what? Serve me. That's the way the narcissist is, You should be happy to even be hooked up with me. You shouldn't ask for anything else. And then some of us think that way. Oh, man, if I could only just hang out with him and love him, I'd be happy. I want to ask for nothing else. It's crazy, but you will ask for something else in the end. I want to be cared for. So many of us want to become children again, and many black women get into this thing. I want some man that can permit me to be like the white woman because that image is, she's cared for her husband, protected the white man, have all that. So I want this kind of man, but at least unrealistic kind of things, You must recognize your man is in bondage. He's got struggles on his hand. He is not going to supply you like a white man supplies his woman because his economic, social, and political reality is not that of a white man. And for you to hold those images, those old Dallas images in your head, and even those Bill Cosby images in your head, and even these other images in your head are often going to mislead you. Look at what is real and deal with what is real. We have that dependent type. It's the consumer type. I'm afraid to be a man. I'm afraid to be a woman, a father or a mother. So I need a mother and I need a father. So instead of you marrying a man and sharing equal with, you want to marry your daddy in disguise. Or you want a mama in disguise. In one way or another. You want to be taken care of. You want a sugar daddy. You want to be a baby for the rest of your life. Consuming and buying to fill up for the emptiness in your life. And so forth. And then we have the master-slave love. Well, the white man dominates me and they rule over me. I'm going to be what? The boss in my house. And I'm going to, often what happens, the slave turns over to try to enslave other people. And so if he can't enslave the white man, he feels like a slave to the white man, he'll make sure one thing, his wife is going to be a slave to him. and his children are going to be a slave to him. And nobody is going to have a right to rule over him or have anything to say. He who does not want to be dominated must dominate others. And he sees his wife as being independent, as having a mind of her own, as her attempt to dominate him, to rule him, to make him look bad. So often he can only love a slave, a dumb woman, or somebody who he figures will not challenge him or see through his weaknesses. We have the phallic lover, the Mr. Man. He's totally man. You see, he has no femininity in him whatsoever. You can love me and I'll love you only to the extent that you make me feel that I'm a man. Very difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, much for your attention. I'm afraid I think that's the question.
Okay, have a seat.